Hi friends, till now we have seen many features of the Docker Swarm. So in this video I will show you one more features that is related to the Swarm network. Okay. So as already I had said you that Docker Swarm uses the ingress network. Okay. So what is the ingress network and what is the overlay bridge? Now we are going to discuss this. Okay. So before going into this, let me say you that this ingress network comes by default when we initiate the Docker Swarm. Okay. So let me show you here. So if I will see the service of the Docker Swarm, so what I will get? Docker info. See, as of now, if I will see, Docker Swarm service is active. Okay. So what I am going to do? Docker. So you will see that Swarm network is also there. Swarm network is also there. So what I will do now? Docker Swarm leave. So this will leave the Swarm. Now it is no more part of the Swarm. If I will check here, then Swarm is in active mode. So if I will run this network command now, so see what I am getting. No Swarm network is there. No ingress or overlay network is there. Already it went out. So what actually this overlay Swarm network is? What is this ingress? What is this overlay driver? So we will discuss. But before that, let me again initiate this Swarm server. So Docker Swarm join. So I will run this command to make this server again part of this Swarm. So see, if I will check this Swarm service, so what I will get? Swarm is active. So if I will run the network command, so see again this ingress and overlay network came up. So now we will see what is this ingress and overlay network is and what is the beauty of this network. So now I had prepared some documents related to this. So I will explain you with the document so that you can understand it in a more better way. So let me first open it. I think why it is not opening. Okay, it is not opening over there. So I will explain you from here itself. See what is happening. So I have created suppose one host machine is there. Okay. So that host machine IP address is 192.168.0.1. So what we does inside this host machine, two Nginx container is running, suppose. So previously we have noticed then no two container was able to communicate each other. If this IP address we used to ping with from this IP address, it should not ping. It do not ping. Why? Because what is the communication process? How it communicates? See, if we will come to our network level, if this is our host level network, okay. So ETH0, every Docker engine communicates through ETH0, okay. So this is the Docker 0. This Docker 0 is the network bridge for the Docker. But however, see how the flow happens. This is the container, okay. So all the containers inside the host machine will communicate with the Docker 0. This is our Docker 0. So all the containers which is created inside the host machine will communicate with this Docker 0. But this Docker 0 will then communicate with ETH0. This Docker 0 will then communicate with ETH0. And after that, the network flows to the outside of world. Okay. This is what the funda is. But as we have seen now, this container is not able to communicate with this container. So how should we make it in a way that this both should be able to communicate each other? So see, here comes the picture of the Docker swarm, which gives us the enable feature of the ingress network. Okay. So see what happens. With the ingress network, what we can do, these both are not able to ping each other. These both are not able to communicate with each other. But if we will use the ingress network, then what ingress network does, that it gives this same port number on top of the container. Like if you would remember, when we were running our Docker service command, Docker service ls. Okay, this is my worker server, Docker service ls. And see, two of my services running, and both of the service is having 1, 2, 3, 5 port number. So if I would like to reach that Tomcat service, I would be using 1, 2, 3, 5 port number. So I would be getting Tomcat over here. Okay. But if you will give Docker PS, so see, in the container level, in the Docker engine level, all the containers are running on port number 8080. So here comes the feature of the ingress network. What ingress network is doing? What ingress network is doing? Ingress network is assigning using one IP, one port mapping which we have done, and with that port number it is given to the outside world, and that outside world is able to communicate with that port number. Whatever the port mapping we did. See, now what happens? Ingress network inbuilt inside the ingress network, it has inbuilt load balancer. What the load balancer does, already we have seen our previous lecture, that when we create 20 containers, all the containers gets equal loads. When I will press the URL again and again, then the URL will not redirect to the same host or same container all the times. It will be redirected in such a way that loads will be distributed to all the containers. So this is what the beauty of the ingress network. So ingress network, I've written here also something. When we initiate our Docker swarm, automatically one ingress network gets created, which already I had shown you. With the overlay I will discuss after this. So for enabling communication between several containers, this and this container should communicate, which is a part of swarm cluster. We don't need to specify anything to create ingress network. Means once I create the Docker swarm, as I had already shown you, that if I will ping this IP of this container from this container or from this container, everyone will ping each other. So how all the containers are reachable each other? So Docker container makes the communication between the different containers, or between the different host of the different containers. Ingress networks enables the communication between them. So we don't need to specify anything extra to create ingress network. Now the thing comes, however, we can create our own network of overlay also. How can we create overlay network or any network of type of the driver overlay? That we will discuss in the details in the networking parts. So I am not elaborating it anymore. So what I want to say, that ingress networks enables the communication between the different hosts of different containers, either which is in the same host or different host. So ingress networks enables the communication between those. And ingress network has inbuilt load balancer, that already I had said. Ingress network has already inbuilt load balancer that redirects traffic to the published or mapped port, which in our case is 80. In our case we have given 80. Suppose if user will redirect this 100 times, then it is not there that 100 times it will call to this first container. It will redirect to the user sometime to this one and sometime to this one, so that load should be balanced between both the containers. So this is what the beauty of load balancer and ingress network is. So after that I want to show you overlay network. So what is overlay network? See, we have already seen practically that suppose this is my host machine 1, this is my host machine 2, this is my host machine 3. Inside my host machine 1, I have created two containers, container 1, container 2. Inside the host 2 also I have created two containers. Inside the host 3 also I created two containers. Okay. So all containers 1 of this host 1 is able to communicate to any of the containers, either of the same host machine or to any of the other host machine. So how actually it does happens? See, if you will look at the internal scenario, all containers communicates with the Docker 0 network only. But Docker 0 communicates with the ETH0 network. Then how actually it is happening? See, now the scenario of Docker Swarm comes into the figure. Whenever Docker Swarms comes into the figure, it creates a how many host machine which is a part of the cluster. Suppose this 3 host is a part of the cluster. Then on top of this 3 host machine, Docker Swarm will create overlay network. Means all these 3 servers should be able to communicate with each other, and all the containers inside this 3 server should be able to communicate with each other, and all this happens due to overlay network. Means what I mean to say that, suppose here it is a Docker cluster, this is a Docker cluster it is here. So inside the Docker cluster, Docker Swarm will create one overlay network which will be shared between all the hosts of the Swarm cluster. So whatever suppose this is my 3 server inside this Swarm cluster, so all these 3 will be able to communicate with each other due to overlay network. Overlay network makes the communication between all the 3 servers, all the containers of the 3 servers. Both it does. So I think now you got the difference between the ingress network and overlay network. Now I will show you one concept over there. Okay, what is the beauty of ingress network? That I will show you with the practical. But before that, let me explain you theoretically. See what I am going to do. I will have 2 servers. Okay, I will have, suppose I am taking 3 servers in my cluster. But in my real practical example, I am having 4 servers in my cluster. See, suppose I am having 3 servers in my cluster and I want to run only 2 nginx image. I want to run only 2 nginx container I want to run. So what Docker Swarm will do? Docker Swarm will run these 2 containers in any of the 3 servers. Suppose it run in host 1 and in host 2, it is running. With host 1 is having the IP1, host 2 is having the IP2. And in the host 3, no nginx container is running. Okay. So if ingress network would not be there, then if we would try to reach out to this URL, we would be getting error. Suppose if nginx container is running on host 1, then we can reach to this host nginx container with the URL 192.168.0.1:80. If it is running on the second container, we can use this URL. But actually it is no application is running in the third container. Then if ingress network would not be there, then if we would have run 192.168.0.3:80, then we would be getting no output. No output would be there because no application is there. But due to ingress network, when we will reach out to this URL also, then also we will get the output. We will not get any error. We will get the same output with this URL or with this URL or with this URL. With all the 3 URL, we will get the same output. This is what the beauty of ingress network is. Means what I mean to say that ingress network shares the loads between all the servers. And suppose I do have only 2 containers to run and I do have 3 servers with me. So if I will try to run this container with this third container in third server inside which no container is there, then also I will be able to reach out to the container. So let us see this practically how this happens. So Docker node ls. So we are having 4 servers with us. We are having 4 servers with us. So out of which master 1 is, this is master server, and node 2 is the backup for the master server. And this node 1, node 3 is the worker node. Okay. So let me see Docker service ls. Let me remove this both these services. Docker so see, no service is running. So what I will do now, I am having 4 host server with me. This is master, this is node 1, this is node 2, and this is node 3. So I am having 3 server with me. Okay. So what I will do now, I am having total of 4 server, but I will run only 2 containers. I will run only 2 containers. Docker service create fn name my container fn replicas 2. See, I am giving replicas count equal to 2. So -p 1 2 3 4 80 NGI NX. Okay. So see what I am doing. I am running this Docker service with the name my container and replicas count I am giving 2. So only 2 containers will come up. But I am having 4 servers with me. Okay. So let me run first this one. So see what happened. Docker service ls. So this came up. And if I want to see in which server it is running, Docker service ps, this one. So in the node 2 and node 1, it is running. This is my node 1. Docker PSC. One Nginx image is running over here. And this is my node 2. Docker PS. One Nginx image is running over here. But in my node 3, no image is running. No image is there in my node 3. And in my node master node also, no image is there. Now let me show you the beauty. This is my node 1. Now let me copy the IP of node 1. This is my node 1 IP. So I will copy it and 1, 2, 3, 4. See what your message you are getting. You are getting the message welcome to Nginx. Why? Because Nginx is running in this server. Now Nginx is running in node 2 as well. So I will copy the IP of node 2. So I am copying the IP. See, here also I am getting Nginx is running. But if you will notice, no Nginx is running, no container is running in the node 3. But if I will copy the node 3 IP with the port number 1, 2, 3, 4, here also I am getting. No error I am getting. As you can see, no container is there. No Nginx container is there in this node 3. But when I am running with this node 3 IP, I am getting welcome to Nginx. If I will go to this master server also, no container is running. And if I will copy the IP of master server with the port number 1, 2, 3, 4, I am getting here also welcome to Nginx. So how is it possible? This is possible only due to ingress network. So here we have seen the beauty of ingress network is. So I think now you are very clear with the ingress network. Docker ingress network which automatically creates with the after enabling our Docker Swarm. So we don't need to configure or we don't need to create this ingress network. This automatically creates whenever we initiates our Swarm services. Okay. So I think now you got the beauty, you got the advantages of ingress network. So we will discuss more networks like what is the bridge network, what is the null network, this all the drivers and this all the networks we will discuss in our next video, which will be of Docker networking. So I think now we have covered almost all the topics of the Docker Swarm. So let me once check and go through the notes that which I have prepared, that I have covered all the topics of node. See, Docker Swarm init, already I have said Docker Swarm init we used to run to the server which we want to make it as master server or manager server. So you can go through all the commands. I have mentioned all the commands with the picture or snap, so that you can be able to follow all the steps very clearly. You won't face any doubt if you will follow all the steps very carefully. So we used the Docker node ls and all this. We have seen all the commands. We have seen the commands Docker Swarm join token as well. we can get the token of manager as well as worker. So it's already shown. We can already seen that how can we promote the server, how can we promote the worker to the manager, or how can we demote the manager to the worker. This both we have seen. And now I had already shown you that what is the labels, how can we use the constraint to use our labels and all. Already I had shown you this with the practicals. And this mode also I have already shown you this, how can we create our label, how can we create services or containers with the labels and all this I have shown. This I have shown you the drain mode also. And what is the drain mode? In the drain mode, no containers will be running in our master server. That is what the drain mode is. So I had shown you this drain mode. After that, we do have Docker service. This replicas also I have shown you, and this difference between the global replicas, global mode of replicas, and this normal replicas. I have shown you the difference between both of them separately. Now after that, I have shown you the mount also, that how can we mount, how can we use the mount, and after that mount, I have shown you that how the load balancing are distributed among different servers. So and I have shown you this global mode as well. So almost I have covered all the topics in the Docker Swarm, and I had prepared these notes very carefully. So you can download these notes from my Facebook group Devops. I will be uploading all the notes, all the documents in my Facebook group. So you can download it from there. And I would request every one of you, if you are learning something from my channel, then please give me some better feedback so that it can inspire me to make more videos. I promise you all, if I get the chance, I will make videos on all DevOps tools, including Ansible, Jenkins, Kubernetes, GitHub, Terraform, AWS, Python script, Bash script, including all the topics of the DevOps which comes under the DevOps. I will make all the tutorials for all the DevOps tools, including complete practicals. I will show everything with the practicals only. So that's all for the day. Please, and I would request every one of you, please do the practical parallelly, because only listening to this video is not going to help you anymore. You will be forgetting all the things within 2 or 3 days. So please do the practical, and if you want these notes, you can download it from my Facebook group Devops. So that's all for the day. You can do the practical. Bye bye.